So welcome back to our channel.
How y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. We're doing great. Thanks for asking.
Thanks for tuning back in. So real quick, if you like our videos, make sure you hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe.
All that fun stuff.
So today, we're actually going to do something a little different.
We're just going to do what we're really good at.
Eating.
Which is eating. So. Okay, I was hella confusion for a second.
Yeah, I was about to be like, we're gonna have to go back. We're gonna have to go get our food.
No, I was about to be really upset. I was about to be like, we're gonna whip up some rice real quick.
All right.
Let's ride.
In the bag or stock is attached.
Today's video, we're actually gonna talk about social media and how it and like our opinions on it, what we think about it.
Yeah.
What
we like about it, what we don't like about it, or like the pace that we see it going.
Exactly.
And
I don't know if you want to just kick things off.
Where should we begin?
So what social medias are you on? Like, what do you have?
Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter.
That's it?
Facebook, but I barely use that.
I think Facebook is more for
the older generations, honestly.
and just keeping in touch with like family and stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So I have Snapchat and Twitter because I deactivated my Instagram.
And why did you do that?
So this was like more of a personal thing. I feel like it was starting to really affect just the way I looked at things. Like for me, my likes were super important. How many followers I had was extremely important to me. And if I would lose a follower, or if I would post a picture and then like that picture got, say for example, like 300 likes, and I posted another one and that one got like 250, I'd be like, oh, like what is it about this picture that 50 people didn't want to like it?
Would you delete the picture then?
Yeah.
Oh.
If I didn't get a certain amount of likes, I would delete the picture.
What was the number?
Huh?
Like how much?
Okay, this is gonna sound really bad, but my ratio was in an hour, I should have 60 or more likes. So that's like a minute. If I didn't reach that within an hour and a half,
yeah,
or within an hour, if I wasn't at 100, I would delete the picture.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
And I never noticed.
And the thing is, the fact that like I would go to these like lengths and these extremes made me like realize that there's something wrong. Like I don't think normal people do that, to be honest. I don't think people look that like hard into it.
No, I feel like most people do. Like even if they don't admit it,
Yeah.
like subconsciously they'll compare like their pictures with their other ones and be like, oh, what was this one? Like I know my sister always pointed this out about my Instagram. She's like, whenever you post a selfie, you get more likes. I'm like, well, that's a given. And like if I post a picture of like something that's not me in it, it won't get as many likes. But it's like obviously like I don't know. I guess like that's just how cliche and shallow people have gotten, you know?
Yeah. But I know like when I first deleted Instagram, I felt like FOMO like really bad. Like I was like, oh my god, like I'm gonna be irrelevant and people aren't gonna remember me, and like it was honestly the stupidest thing I think I could have ever thought. But like the longer I was off it, the more I realized I was like, that like what was I really doing with my time? Like I would spend hours, like I would waste hours on
Instagram, just like scrolling through
like
like the randomest people's like pages too, or just like on your explore page even, right?
Yeah, and the thing is I feel like the more I scrolled, the worse I felt.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Because then I would see like someone else post a similar picture of me like as I had and get more likes, and I'm just like, how come? What's that about?
Yeah, that can be like the healthiest way to or especially because like the part where you're just like, oh, will people remember me or whatever, that's like really not that healthy or like that great, because it's like the way you're seeing it is it's like
I'm
you're
only
not
relevant
on social media, nobody cares about you, nobody like
but
knows
that's
that you
a fact.
exist. Well, kind of, but I mean, you had other people like kind of messaging like, oh, you're not on Instagram, blah blah blah. Like people actually notice, you know what I mean? But I get what you mean that it's a fact though, because it is kind of valid. A lot of the times, like nowadays, especially when you see people, their personality online is completely different than their personality in person, right? So sometimes people are like, oh, you're way better online, or you're way cuter online, you know?
See, but the thing is, I feel like the whole face-to-face interaction doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I agree.
Majority of the people I talk to is through my phone. Even if it's
Yeah.
not through social media, it's
Yeah.
on, like I'm texting them, I'm on the phone with them. It's very rare that I'll see them, and I feel like it's also because as a society we've just become so busy, and that priority of seeing people isn't there because it's just they're so easily accessible.
Yeah.
Safest social media platform.
Twitter, hands down. Twitter for sure. Especially now. I don't know about like, thank you. I don't know like back. I remember like being in high school and being on Twitter too. I don't really remember what that was like, to be honest. But I know now, especially, it's become like such like a community thing. Like there's so many different communities you can be a part of on Twitter, and nobody's really like that judgmental. Like what is like the sort of affirmation that you get from Twitter? You get retweets and likes on like a tweet of yours, but usually people don't tweet for other people. It's kind of like a you thing where you're just talking about yourself, your own life, or whatever you want to talk about, you know. So I just feel like that's like the safest place, or like in my opinion, I feel like that's the safest place.
Okay.
Twitter's a blast.
I should try Twitter.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I was worried because like, oh, it's like really spicy. It's really not. Follow us on Twitter.
Okay, social media and relationships.
Yikes.
If you like, that's like I think the one word to describe it.
Yikes. I don't know. I'm not saying like it never works out, but a lot of the times when you really like hear people out and stuff, and when they're complaining about their relationships, a lot of the times why they fell off or why they broke up or whatever is because of social media. Yeah.
But again, it literally just comes down to everyone's like activities, what people are doing is so easily accessible, and I think things just get blown out of proportion.
Yeah. And because everyone's become so insecure now, like the smallest thing could set someone off where they'll be like, wow, this person is not interested in me anymore. Or they like that type of person and they don't like me, you know? Damn. When did, like, do you even remember when it
Got really serious?
Yeah, like when that
I don't
switch.
remember.
I don't even know. Even I feel like maybe sometime around high school, but even then, like I can't tell like where.
For
in high
me,
school.
it got like more serious like in university, like in first and second year when I started working at thing.
I feel like your job really affected that. No.
Yeah, because I had to post a lot for my job. So
Do you think you would have been as active on Instagram, or like you would have been posting a lot?
no,
If you weren't working there.
I would have no need to. What would I be posting?
Yeah, you're right.
Right? So do you think social media, what direction do you see it going in?
Down. In the sense that like the power it has over people and like what you can do with it, it extends to a point where it can easily become like dangerous.
People have committed suicide because of social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I remember like when I was in middle school, we didn't have any of the, like any social media. Like
Yeah.
I know the most I had was I think like MSN.
MSN, yeah.
I feel like I think people just take social media so seriously, like too seriously,
Yeah.
to a point where they're giving up their lives for it.
It's pretty
And-
upsetting. I'm very upset.
But I don't like, how would you even like remedy that? Like, cause like it's like everyone's just like behind the screen and they just say whatever they want to say that you probably wouldn't ever say if you were like face to face with that
yeah.
person, right?
That's another problem. Like, do you remember like when bullying was like things that just happened to you at school?
And bullying at that time was like maybe like name calling and like shoving.
Yeah.
Now it's like
Now it's, like,
editing
blackmailing,
pictures,
yeah.
editing pictures, posting like the dumbest things,
Yeah.
you know.
Form spring was a big thing in my school because like people were getting bullied through that. Like people were anonymously like leaving like messages and stuff, and a couple of people actually got suspended from my school.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how they figured out who it was, but they got suspended. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
See, but that's what I'm saying. Again, it literally just comes down to how people are using social media, right? Like,
Yeah.
social media can really be a great tool to network, because I've met a lot of people through social media that I probably wouldn't have met otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's a great tool of meeting people and networking, but I feel like it's just gone out of hand now.
But even with like networking and stuff, a lot of the times the people you meet on social media, they have some sort of expectation from you. What are they essentially looking for? So Instagram kind of has like this whole cloud around it.
I feel like Instagram is like a low-key Tinder.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to agree.
But instead of you guys swiping on each other, you just follow. You don't even necessarily have to follow that person. They just shoot their shot with everybody. They act like they're so
about it.
They're so about it. They're so cool. And you meet them in person, you're like, you are not the same person.
Oh, that's another thing, honestly. Like, you really don't know what to expect. But catfishing, all of that too. Yo, you know when it's like really weird, like thick, kind of almost
gravy?
like, yeah. I hate when it's like that. It's too much. Like, the rice is soggy. Ooh. Would you let your kids be on social media? Or like, what age would you let your kids start getting on social media? Because now kids are like starting at like 12 and 13. Like, they literally have Instagrams and everything. So I know like 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds who have their own phones and everything like that too. And I feel like, as much as like if you were to have a kid and tell them, like, try to be like stern with them, be like, oh, when I was a kid, for example, when did I get a phone? Like grade 9 or grade 10 or something. But I feel like in their generation, like, everybody is gonna be on social media at like 8 years old, 9 years old, and what, you're gonna have your one kid like not be on social media, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Rather know about it than them feel like they have to like lie to me and like sneak around and do it, because if something were to go wrong, I would like to have known about it. But obviously I want to protect my kid like for as long as I can.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously I don't want them to feel like a social pariah and like, oh my god, like, you're so uncool, you're not on Instagram, you're not on this, but like, you don't need it at that age. What are you doing with it at that age?
But if you think about it, if they still did it, like, who knows what dangers that could lead to, and then the fact of them trying to hide it from me all the time, like, that could go bad too. But like, imagine the social media that would exist in their generation.
It would be like horrible.
I know.
It would just be horrendous. Like, I don't even want to. Oh my god. I could never. But okay, maybe I would have like rules. Like, all right, you can have Instagram, but I can go on it whenever I want. So if you're gonna do some dumb shit
I'm
on
having
there,
all the passwords. I'm sorry.
No, it's a fact. Like, if you don't do anything that you wouldn't want me to see.
I'm like, am I gonna turn into like a mom and post like pictures of my kids? Realistically,
I don't think I'm gonna post pictures of my kids' faces.
Yeah. Realistically, I don't even think I'm gonna be on social media. Instagram especially, after, I don't know, maybe after like a family and everything. I don't really get, I think it's because
coffee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep talking.
I don't understand.
I saw Hassan Minaj talk about this thing that he did on the subtle curry traits. He did like this AMA, and they're like, what's one thing, I forgot what the question was, but it's something around, along the lines of like, what's one thing that you'd like to explain that it's just like a custom in brown culture that people just wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have to call my parents. He's like, no matter what, he's like, I could be out with my friends, but if I see that my mom is calling or my dad is calling,
I have to pick up.
I'm gonna pick up. Thank you.
Yesterday my manager was giving me a ride home like last night from work, and we were talking about parents, and we were just talking about, because she's Filipino. And I was telling her how Ram Riddles was having a listening party on Thursday, but it was too last minute to ask my mom if I could go.
Yeah.
Because it was Thursday night. And she's like, but you're 22. And I was like,
what do you think that matters?
I'm like, my sister's 35, and she's married, and she doesn't live at home. She lives with her husband. And if her and like my brother-in-law go out for like a night out, my mom will stay up till she texts her that she's home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally, every time I want to go out, I have to think about, like, I have to plan it weeks in accordance. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so like in 4 weeks, I want to go out. So that means this week, I gotta ease into it, you know? Like,
yeah,
you gotta be nice to them for a week. You gotta randomly do some shit for them.
The week that you're gonna go out, you're not going anywhere else.
Oh,
you're
my God.
gonna be home that whole week.
God forbid
you go out on a Monday and you ask again to go out on Friday. They'll be like, you just went out.
went out.
So, or like 62.
I think about like if this is me now, imagine me at my parents' age. I probably will be broken.
Imagine me at my parents' age.
Watching, we hope you enjoyed listening to us
Rant.
about social media.
And a little bit about like brown culture. I think we should get into that next video.
I think so. It was like a little bit of a mix. But
So next Wednesday, we're gonna have the same thing. Little eating.
Are we gonna do this every Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's make it a series. So every Wednesdays, I think we're gonna do eat and we're gonna talk about things that are going on, because I feel like we have really good conversations. And I feel like these conversations need to be happening a little bit more.
Yeah, and maybe it'll encourage you to like sit down and talk to people as well. Like share your opinions with your friends, families,
share your opinions
and
with
whatnot.
us. Like, what do you guys think about social media? What social media platform are you the most addicted to?
I feel like it's a good way to get like conversations going and stuff. I feel like a lot of the times people tend to be like in not really denial, but they tend to push things under the rug.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good way to just blow shit.
Like, everybody is getting off social media, but I want to know why.
Why?
Like, what's your reason for getting off of social media? My reason was, it was really just getting to my mental, like, that's it, I can't do that. So that was my reason.
About it, who knows? Maybe social media will kind of
go the
back.
other way. Yeah,
maybe we could go backwards, back to when it was better. Things were
the
good
other
and
thing
stuff,
is,
you know?
like, I feel like abbreviation.
There you go. Sound it out, baby girl.
So I feel like social media is good with networking with people and meeting people, but it's also about moving away from the screen and actually seeing that person in real life and making the time and the priorities to see the people you want to be seeing, versus just like, oh yeah, I snapped them today.
After the fact is that social media is a thing. It's not gonna die. It's gonna be there.
So like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time we post a new video.
Because they're coming in hot. Oh shit!
So videos coming every Wednesdays and Fridays. We're trying our best to keep to that schedule. Yeah. If you guys have ideas for other videos, let us know. Because when we hear from you guys about what you want to hear, that's what we can put out. Because right now we're just going off what we want to do.
And what we usually we're most interested in too.
Yeah, like what we normally talk about and the conversations we have going. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the next video.
And see.